Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tipped. My name is Julian, and today we're going to be talking about the injury report for Week 14, the first week of the playoffs of your fantasy hockey season. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would really appreciate all of your support. Without further ado, let's jump into the longer-term injuries. First on the list, guys, is Elias Pettersson, Vancouver Canucks, 93% owned, dealing with that upper body injury, and there's still no timetable for his return. So if you have Elias Pettersson, guys, and you need your IR space for somebody else that you have who's injured, you can pretty safely drop him at this point because there's a very good chance he's not going to play for the rest of the fantasy season. Next is Steven Stamkos, Tampa Bay Lightning, 92% owned, and the way it's looking right now is he'll be back for the very last week of the fantasy hockey season, so not next week, but the week after. So if you make the finals, you should have Stamkos for all 3 of his games that week, which is great. So if you do have him, well, you can stash him on your IR and hope that that does happen. Until then, guys, Alex Killorn is a pretty decent filler. He's getting top 6 time and top power play time. Next is Philip Grubauer, Colorado Avalanche, 90% owned. He's on the COVID list, guys, and they said that he would be out for 2 weeks on the 14th. So that means that he could potentially play next Wednesday. So definitely if you have him, keep him on your IR plus, and then activate him on Wednesday, and hopefully he should play for Colorado because they'll be missing him because Dubnyk and Johansson are not very good goalies. Next is Philip Forsberg, Nashville Predators, 83% owned, dealing with an upper body injury, and the Preds are optimistic that he might be able to play next week at some point. Due to the fact that the Predators only play Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday next week, it's pretty fair to say that I don't think he's going to be playing on Monday or Tuesday. That seems a little bit too soon, but he could conceivably be back for Saturday's game. Until then, guys, if you need someone to fill in for the Nashville Predators, Victor Arvidsson's doing pretty well. Next is Frederik Andersen, Toronto Maple Leafs, 74% owned, dealing with that lower body injury, and he's skating with the team, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's close. I personally don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be playing for the rest of the fantasy season. I think Jack Campbell's the guy you want to have on your team if you really need a goalie for the Leafs. Next is Zach Hyman, Toronto Maple Leafs, 64% owned, dealing with a knee sprain, which will keep him out for 2 weeks. So basically, guys, he could be ready for the fantasy hockey finals. But if you do really need that IR space for somebody else, Zach Hyman is droppable at this point. Next is Mikko Rantanen, Colorado Avalanche, 99% owned. And like Grubauer, he's also on the COVID list. But the difference is with Rantanen is that he may not actually have it. It could just be, close contact with Grubauer or whatever it is. So there's a chance that he does play for Colorado's game on Thursday. Next is Blake Wheeler, Winnipeg Jets, 89% owned. He was dealing with a concussion, but he is back and will play on Thursday. Get him into your lineups. Next is Evgeny Malkin, Pittsburgh Penguins, 88% owned, dealing with that lower body injury, but he's making some pretty good progress. That's why I have him in the day-to-day injuries rather than the week-to-week, because I do think he's going to be back sooner rather than later. Like I keep saying, guys, until Malkin returns, Jared McCann will continue to have an expanded role with the Penguins and will continue to put up some points. Next is Miro Heiskanen, Dallas Stars, 88% owned, dealing with an undisclosed injury that made him miss the game on Tuesday. He hasn't missed any games this year, so I'm not too worried. I think he will probably play on Thursday. Doesn't seem like anything too scary, but just keep an eye out for it. And if you do need a defenseman to replace him, Esa Lindell's actually playing pretty well. Next is Carey Price, Montreal Canadiens, 85% owned, and he's now in the concussion protocol, which really sucks because we all know that he just came back from a lower body injury. So this is not great news, but this will keep him out at least a week. But with concussions, you never know how long someone's actually going to be out for. Let's hope that it's just a week. But guys, be prepared for Price to possibly be missing the rest of the season. If that is the case, guys, you're going to want to pick up Jake Allen right now, just in case he does. And that way, Jake Allen's going to get all the games that Price is missing for you, and you're not going to lose any games for your lineup. Next is Patrick Hornquist, Florida Panthers, 77% owned, dealing with an undisclosed injury. It may not even be an injury. For all we know, he could have been arrested just the other night, so he could very conceivably be back for Thursday's game. I would expect him to. Next is Rope Hintz, Dallas Stars, 72% owned, dealing with that lingering lower body injury he's been dealing with all year long, guys. He's been basically a game-time decision every single game, so at this point, when he misses a game, people aren't even surprised. There's a very good chance, though, that he does play on Thursday. Next is Tuvo Teravainen, Carolina Hurricanes, 69% owned, dealing with a concussion like he's been dealing for a very long time at this point. But I put him into day-to-day injury because the coach is optimistic that he will play on the team's current road trip, which ends on Tuesday. So he could conceivably play as early as next week, Monday or Tuesday. Next is Tyler Seguin, Dallas Stars, 64% owned, dealing with that hip injury that he's been dealing with since the beginning of the year. He has not played a game. But guys, you're going to want to add Tyler Seguin right now if he's available in your league because he should be available as soon as Monday. And Dallas Stars play 2 games Monday, Tuesday, and have 4 total games next week. He's going to be a guy who's going to really help you win your week next week. Next is Carter Hart, Philadelphia Flyers, 61% owned, dealing with that lower body injury. And guys, if you haven't dropped him yet, this is literally the universe telling you, drop Carter Hart. He's just been ruled out for the back-to-back set that Philly has on Thursday and Friday. And Elliott's been much better than him, so Elliott probably gets the game on Sunday as well. Next is Mackenzie Weegar, Florida Panthers, 59% owned, dealing with that upper body injury. And if you do not have room on your IR+, you're going to want to drop Weegar because you cannot afford to have a guy who's not playing. He's day-to-day. We don't really know how long he's going to be out for. It doesn't seem like he's going to be out for too long, but honestly, it's just not worth taking the chance if you don't have the IR+ room. If you're desperate, you're in a deep league, and you need someone to replace him on D, Gustav Forsling is an okay replacement since he's also getting some second power play time in Florida. Next is Yaroslav Halak, Boston Bruins, 55% owned. He's on the COVID list, and I don't think they're rushing him back. I don't think they're in any rush to bring him back at all. I think they're going to rest him up until he's fully healthy because Tuukka Rask is back now. And also, Jeremy Swayman has been awesome. So why rush Halak back when you can actually just play a prospect who's actually playing really well and increase his value? Next is Dylan Larkin, Detroit Red Wings, 53% owned, dealing with an undisclosed injury. He was hurt very late in the third period last game. I don't think he's going to miss Thursday's game, but there is a chance, guys. So, account for that. But hopefully Larkin should be in your lineup on Thursday because it doesn't seem too serious. No one's really talking about it. Next is Mackenzie Blackwood, Mac Black, New Jersey Devils, 42% owned. And honestly, he's been bad. The whole New Jersey team has been really bad defensively. And he's not worth hanging on to for your playoff run because honestly, he probably will hurt you more than help you, and he's injured on top of that, so keep the IR room for someone else. Next is Justin Schultz, Washington Capitals, 29% owned. He's day-to-day with a lower body injury, and honestly, guys, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to you if you own Justin Schultz because, well, the Capitals didn't play any hockey until Thursday, so if you were able to have him on your IR Plus and stream someone else for those 4 days while Schultz was on IR and not playing anyway, well, you got some pretty nice, value for that. And I think Schultz will be back on Thursday, but if he isn't, just keep whoever you've been streaming. Next is Nick Foligno, Toronto Maple Leafs, 28% owned. He was traded and he is now cleared COVID protocol, which means he will be eligible to play for the Leafs on Thursday. Depending on where he plays in the lineup, he could have some decent value. Next is Riley Smith, Vegas Golden Knights, 27% owned, dealing with an undisclosed injury. And honestly, guys, unless you're in like the deepest of league, there's no reason to have Riley Smith. He hasn't been that great this year. He does play on a pretty good line with Carlson and Marchessault, but he's been the worst member of that line. And he hasn't really produced in any manner. If you don't have the IR Plus room, you could very safely drop him. Next is Jonas Donskoy, Colorado Avalanche, 20% owned. He's also on that COVID list, so if he does not actually have COVID, he could be back as soon as Thursday. If not, guys, he could be gone for a good while. If you have the IR Plus room, I guess you can hold on to him, but he's not crazy valuable anyway. So if you need your IR room for somebody else, don't hesitate. Next is Kasperi Kapanen, Pittsburgh Penguins, 19% owned, and he was actually practicing with the team on even strength and with the power play. Looks like he's going to be back very, very soon, so keep an eye on that, and when he does, you can pick him up for some pretty decent potential points. Next is Eeli Tolvanen, a Nashville Predators, 17% owned, and he's back from that lower body injury, guys, and as of this recording, he's already scored a goal in his return, so I would go ahead and add him to your team ASAP. Last but not least, guys, are 4 New Jersey Devil players, PK Subban, Ty Smith, Jesper Bratt, and Pavel Zacha. They're all dealing with the respective ailments, and honestly, these guys are all droppable, except for maybe Bratt in deeper leagues, because Bratt has been very, very hot. So if you have the IR Plus room for Bratt, go ahead and keep them. But for the rest of them, they're pretty safe drops. They have not been very good at all. If you need a replacement for one of the defensemen, well, Will Butcher actually on his first night replacing these guys got 3 assists and is playing on the top power play. So I don't hate it if you need a defenseman to add in a very deep league. All right, guys, you've reached the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment, ask me a fantasy hockey related question. I'll be happy to answer you. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.